So it's kind of hard to speak. I feel like, and this is what the Lord is doing in my life. He's not just dealing with the behavior, like man sees the outward appearance, but God sees the heart. And this is what He's doing in my life. And so if you're seeing this, then I believe that He wants to give you a fresh perspective of what He's doing in your life. You may be like, well, why is He not dealing with this behavior, this sinful behavior? And you're like, I'm not getting anywhere with this. Like, I pray about it, I don't pray about it. I go through cycles of just quote unquote falling back in it. I've had so much religion just show me just like the way that things are in me, and they're not correct. But God sees the heart. And before He will deal with the behavior, part of dealing with the behavior, right? We think that He's just going to remove something. He doesn't just do that, because it's not even the thing that you are doing that is really the problem. The problem is the judgment that still remains about that thing. And God will deal with the judgment before He deals with the behavior. Because once He deals with the judgment, the behavior goes away. It's just a process. It's not just, here's a list of things that you can do and here's a list of things that you can't do, right? No, this is where you are in your heart. This is how you still see yourself. With the judgment comes the separation. And He's like, I accept all of you. I know about this thing. I'm with you in this thing. And I accept you in this thing. Whatever your thing may be, multiple things, where there's just still judgment hanging over your head. You just feel judged. You have such a strong belief that you're not enough. And it's creating these behaviors. It's what gives the behaviors, I guess, a space in you. But the problem is you are trying to, you're rejecting yourself, right? You've taken on this standard. And this is what God will do. This is what He's doing in my life. He will say, no, it's okay to do that thing. It's okay to do that thing because there's no judgment on you. It's okay to do that thing because you belong to me. Because it's not about you whether you do it or you don't. It's about where you are in relationship to trust with me. Where are you in relationship to me? I have you in a process. I'm dealing with the judgment. You're like, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I keep doing this thing. I keep failing. He's like, this is the problem. You have an incorrect perception of yourself. And I'm dealing with that incorrect perception of yourself. But I'm taking you through a gentle path. Because the weight of my gaze, like you actually seeing yourself correctly, you seeing the way that I see you, can be too much for you. You must be prepared for this, because you will likely look for places to hide, because the belief that you have about yourself not being enough is so strong. The judgment that you believe about yourself has been so strong and so tangled up in your heart. But I come in like a gentle surgeon, and I just start to remove those strands. I start to unravel those places in you. And you're like, I'm not getting better. I'm still doing this thing. And He's like, we're going to get to a place where you do this thing, whatever this thing is. For me, like the easiest place to go is pornography. I say, we're going to do this thing. And this is what my promise is to you. You're simply going to lose interest. Right? It's the fear of rejection that kind of keeps this thing around, right? You don't feel like you have the space to express yourself. This is where you are in relationship to freedom. Where you have felt the most confined is something you want to keep doing. But there's judgment that you have about this thing. And I'm dealing with the judgment because I don't care about the behavior like you care about the behavior. The behavior doesn't bother me, but it bothers you. And I must take you to a place, I must take you through a process where you see first the judgment and the fear of rejection that comes up when you're like, I'm still watching porn, I'm gonna be alone forever. I'm still watching porn, I'm not gonna get anywhere in my life. I'm still watching porn, it's only gonna get worse and worse and worse. And he's like, I have you in my hands. Keep doing it. The church is horrible at this because we see like an easier path of just having a list of things to do and a list of things not to do. And you have people that are like, no, I accept you where you are with porn. Now let's come up with a plan to get rid of this thing. And it's like, because you're trying to come up with the plan so quickly, it shows how much you really don't accept yourself, that you really don't accept this thing. And you can have the church say, well, we don't accept sin, blah, blah, blah. But sin first starts in the mind. It's the thought process that you have and the judgment that is tied to it. You are free. I am free. And it's only when you start to really receive that and believe that, and he brings you to a place where lawfully you can do anything you want, will that thing that has power over you, that thing that is used to judge you, will that start to unravel. But it's not going to be he just deals with the behavior, because if he deals with the behavior, then you're only going to feel as good as you not doing it, right? That judgment is still going to be there. You're going to say, I'm a good person. I'm progressing. God's really removing this thing out of my life. And the reality is you're just doing it in your own strength. It's just not something you can do. We just see the surface level of things. This is what this is, and I'm still doing this thing, so I must be in this other place. And you look at another man, right, another woman, and they just see surface level. They don't see deep enough, but he sees into the heart, where the issue is a perspective issue, where the issue is you're still believing these judgments that come against you. And you're not going to be able to do anything on your own. I think this is where so many people check out, because what it really exposes is where you are in relationship to trust and how helpless you are for him to do what you could never do. Correct that judgment that you have about yourself. This is where he has me. And I'm seeing the work of his hands, and it's not the way that I thought I would. He's not helping me get rid of something. He's showing me that I am accepted, that I am the beloved, no matter what. And it doesn't matter what area of my life, area of my person, whatever version of me, there doesn't need to be any shut doors, because he's in all of them, saying, I accept you here. I accept you here. All of you is welcome with me. All of you. He's dealing with the judgment, because the judgment has caused separation in you. You've compartmentalized this is good and this is bad, and the church has not helped, because the church is still in the infancy stage, still believing that they're not whole and that they must overcompensate by trying to focus on progressing. This hyper focus about progressing and getting better and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I have a way better life for you than that. You don't want to see where you really are because of the judgment that comes with it. You believe that where you are is not enough, that you are behind. Let me show you that where you really are is with me, and I have you in a process. And the end result is not to get this thing out of your life. The end result is for you to be free. For you have this awareness of my perception that says, you're good no matter what. You are free in all things. It's to show you who you really are, without the judgment. And we have no idea what to do with this, because that judgment has been so strong. But you're good. You just don't know you are. You're held. You just don't know you are. You're safe. You just don't know you are. Let him convince you, because I believe that's what he's doing. You're like, I'm not moving anywhere. And he's like, yeah. I'm just bringing to the surface how you see yourself and saying, this isn't how I see you. And you're like, well, I can't see myself the way that you see me. I don't know how to do that. And he's like, exactly. It's not on you. Just surrender to the process. We might be going a different way than you think we are. If you like watching porn, just admit it. If you like doing whatever, just admit it to yourself. It's okay. There doesn't need to be judgment about it. But when the judgment comes up, it's for a purpose, for him to show you that this is in the way. Let me show you that I don't judge you, that I see you correctly.